Hi, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with a Coach. Today we have a question from our friend Molly. Molly watched one of my older videos where I mentioned that only 1% of the subscribers on my YouTube channel are female. And she was surprised at that. Today, I'm happy to say we're up to 3%. So, to all the ladies who subscribe to the channel, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and as always, get out there and train. But not just yet, because there's more to this video. Molly has some questions. She says, watching your channel has given me the push I needed to sign up for some BJJ classes. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Stoked about that. She says, I am excited but still incredibly anxious about the classes. Any tips? What should I look for in a coach? What do I look for in the gym itself? What can I expect to learn? Are there any big red flags I should look out for? And yes, I'm a woman. I know this probably isn't your area of expertise, but what should I wear under the gi? Where can I get a decent gi? I'm in Canada. Thanks, I don't know a ton, so any insight is greatly appreciated. Okay, I have a few insights on your questions. Let's start at the bottom, work our way from the objective, and move up to the subjective. So, as far as gis go, here's a gi. I don't know, you've probably never worn a gi if you've never been in a jiu-jitsu class. It's different than a karate gi or a taekwondo dobak or most traditional martial arts uniforms because it's thicker and it's rougher and it's a lot more durable. This collar, for example, it's very thick. You can grab that thing and twist it. It's meant to be indestructible, basically. And I'm going to put this close to the microphone. Do you hear that? Do you remember back in the early 80s, where people wore, what was that called? Corduroy trousers. And if you walked around in tight corduroy trousers and you had big thighs, they would brush together and they would make this, they'd make this sound, like this sort of sound, and people could hear you coming from a mile away. Well, this texture is pretty rough. It's kind of like wearing a potato sack. Now, please don't get scared away there. They're not all like that. But it's coarse cotton, okay? So it's not the most forgiving on your skin. So what you wear under it matters. Now in competition, in jiu-jitsu competition, according to IBJJF rules, men are not allowed to wear any shirt or rash guard under their gi. They have to go shirtless under it. But that does not apply to women. Women are required to wear something, a rash guard or a shirt, under their uniform during competition. In training, that rule doesn't necessarily apply. It's specific to the gym. What I would recommend while training, because they are so abrasive, and because you will be putting in a lot of training hours, a lot of grinding against the mat, and this gi is going to be up against the skin, is get a rash guard and wear a rash guard under the gi. Now, always wear supportive undergarments. If you're a woman, wear a sports bra. If you're a man, wear a jockstrap or something like that. But on top of that, wear a rash guard. What is a rash guard? Let me see if I've got one here. Here we go. Wear a rash guard. Bonus points if it's my personal favorite, a Spider-Man rash guard. You don't have to look like a superhero underneath your uniform, but you can. You do have that option. What does this do? It's a tight-fitting spandex shirt, essentially. So it stretches, it's close to your skin, it creates this extra layer, this second skin that is not going to get scratched up or rubbed up or get mat burn or anything like that. Now, some people don't like to wear a rash guard because sometimes they find the gi by itself is very hot and they sweat a lot, especially if you train at one of those gyms that isn't well air-conditioned or deliberately turns up the heat in the middle of the summer. There are a few lunatics out there who do that. I like training in the heat personally because it loosens up the muscles, helps prevent injury, that sort of thing. Not everybody likes that. But if it's comfortable for you, wear a rash guard under your gi. It's going to save your skin a lot of wear and tear. And with saving your skin a lot of wear and tear, it will help prevent any mat-borne illnesses, infections, etc. that could possibly happen from skin abrasions. Now, that being said, what I personally like to wear, and a lot of people do, some people don't, is spats underneath the gi pants, because it's the same kind of deal. Gi pants are generally less abrasive than the jacket, but still, especially if you use a lot of techniques where your knees are on the ground. For example, kneeling guard passes. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of friction on the knees. So, something like a pair of tights, a pair of lycra tights, spats, yoga pants, whatever you want to call them, do a world of wonders for the skin on your legs, your knees, etc., to keep that safe from abrasion and so on. I'm a big fan of the ones with flaming skulls on them. And, of course, my personal favorite, the rainbow butterflies. Don't judge. Yeah, spandex, the most fantastic functional fitness fabric out there for fighting. So again, if it's not too hot, if you're comfortable with that, it's a great way to protect your skin under the gi. And again, everybody's different. What you do need, what you absolutely need, what is not optional, is wear under the gi what you would be comfortable with if the gi came off. Because these things come off. The jacket, you may notice, it, unlike a karate gi, there are no ties, there are no strings attached to the inside. It's held together only with the belt, and it comes off frequently. And there are many techniques that employ untucking the jacket and strangling the other guy with the lapels, or your own, or tying up his legs, worm guard, or something like that. A lot of crazy things you can do with this, so it gets untucked, it becomes untidy. So make sure you are wearing something underneath the gi that you would be 100% comfortable with if the gi came off. The gi pants also, they're held on with a drawstring. Usually, if you have a good gi, it'll stay on pretty well. But if you're rolling a lot, the pants do tend to come off once in a while. So wear some shorts or some spats or just something underneath that you feel comfortable in if the pants came off. Okay? So that being said, what to wear in a jiu-jitsu class? That is one of the most common questions I am asked in person, not so much online, but in person when people give me a call or send me an email or come to my gym to try out a class. They always want to know, what should I wear? And they generally ask me this in private, so they don't want to be embarrassed or whatever. So there you go. The other questions. Getting into the subjective area, how should I look for a coach? All right, I would recommend visit a few different gyms. Visit a gym that is close enough to you that you will be motivated enough to go. A lot of people are concerned about finding the absolute best gym. And if that's you, great, more power to you, go and find that gym. Spoiler alert, it's in Shanghai, China. Come train with me. Anyway, that aside, the best gym closest to you, probably in your home country, province, state, wherever you live. So shop around a little bit, find several gyms close to you, compare and contrast. If you go to one, you won't have a lot of context of experience to compare from. Maybe the one coach at the one gym is a big jerk, and you'll just assume, well, all coaches must be like that because I've never been to any other gyms. So try out a few. So a lot of that is up to you. What do you like? What I would recommend is find a coach who is interested in your success, who is interested in seeing you improve at jiu-jitsu. If you have a coach who won't give you the time of day, that's a red flag in my opinion. Really, that's the biggest one for me. If you're looking for a great list of telltale signs of a McDojo, check out Rob at McDojoLife. He's got a list of, I think it's 5 signs of a McDojo, which I highly recommend watching. I think I'll put a link to that in the description down below. By the way, shout out to Rob. He is putting together a documentary about McDojos. If you want to help that happen, go over to his channel. I'll put a link to that video in the description below as well. And help him get that project off the ground. I'm really excited about seeing that happen. And if you can help that financially or sharing his message, please do.
Are you a fight fan? Do you hate no-touch martial arts?
Somebody come and look at this.
Would you like to put an end to this? The McDojoLife documentary will put an end to these fools. This is the first ever film that will both explore and understand the world of the fake martial arts. Interviews with the teachers and students, interviews with MMA figures and fighters, interviews with psychologists and doctors. I've been meaning to get my bladder 56 checked out. Every fight fan is going to enjoy this film. You can make it possible by donating to our crowdfunding campaign today. Visit McDojoLife.com to scope out the full plan and to learn about all the perks that you could get from donating. You could give any amount you want. Just check out McDojoLife.com and donate today.
Anyway, again, shout out to Rob, McDojoLife, go check him out. So, yeah, check out that list about those really simple things, and it's not what you might think. So what else? What can you expect to learn in a jiu-jitsu class? Well, you can expect to learn jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is a grappling art. So it's an art of grappling. Not striking, not punching and kicking. I know some self-defense nerds will be out there saying, well, in my jiu-jitsu class, we teach self-defense against strikes. Okay, cool. More power to you. That's not normal. That's not the norm. That's not what everybody does. Generally, when you say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we're talking about grappling. The art of grappling, particularly pajama grappling in one of these bad boys. There is no gi jiu-jitsu. I love it. You should do it. You should train in the gi and no gi as well to learn the contrast of techniques available for both styles. It's awesome. You'll learn a lot through contrast. Okay? But what can you expect to learn how to grapple? Grappling is how to control and submit your opponent. Grappling is giving you tools that you need to keep the fight where you want it. So even if your objective is something other than twisting a guy into a human pretzel, Jiu-Jitsu can give you tools to accomplish that goal. For example, if your goal is self-defense and you're worried about, I don't want to be pinned on the ground, how do I get back up on my feet and get out of there? Guess what? Jiu-Jitsu gives you the tools to deal with that problem. If your goal is to be a cage fighter and participate in the sport of MMA, Jiu-Jitsu gives you a phenomenal base for that sport. So, yeah, even if you plan to be the striker in the cage, yeah, Jiu-Jitsu gives you the tools to keep the fight where you want it. It is a defensive style of grappling that uses offensive techniques to end fights quickly and on your terms, when you understand it. Now, expect to put in work. Jiu-Jitsu is not magic. Martial arts is not magic. A lot of people will sell you on this idea. Jiu-Jitsu is great for smaller, weaker people. Jiu-Jitsu is great for women. And yeah, that's true. And you have to work for it. You absolutely have to work for those goals. They are attainable, but you got to work hard for it. You've got to work consistently at it. And remember, it's more important to be consistent than to do a lot at once. So, yeah, make sure that you have regularly scheduled training times each week and show up consistently. And you can expect a lot of other things. For example, maybe you're a prodigy. I trained one woman who absolutely was a prodigy. Shout out to Carolyn, man, amazing grappler. And she picked it up so quick, man. I taught her things like a flying armbar, for example, something that took me years to figure out. And on day one, of course, she had a basis in learning standard armbars from guard and all this stuff, but the first time I showed her the flying armbar, boom, she caught it. Amazing. Fantastic grappler. Suplex, that's another thing. Man, learning to do suplexes was really hard for me. It took a lot of a great investment of emotional capital to get over the fear of going upside down and all these other things involved in that movement. And she picked it up right there. So maybe you're a prodigy like that. I don't know. Most of us are not. So don't expect to be a prodigy. No matter what, even if you are, go in humble with a teachable attitude. And if you're getting squashed for for the first month or 2 months or 6 months or 1 year. If you can't beat anybody on the mat, that's okay. Just make sure that you are progressing relative to you. Get 1% better every single day. That is something that one of the greatest jiu-jitsu coaches I know, Ricky Lundell, always tells his students. 1% better every day. It's not a lot. It's a little bit. Everybody can dig deep and do a little bit. And then a little bit more. And then a little bit more. So, set achievable goals. And then, somewhere down the line, you know what? You might just be looking at a jiu-jitsu black belt in the mirror around your waist. But what does that mean? It means what you put into it. So, let's see if I missed out any of the other questions. I know you asked quite a few. Where can I get a decent gi? Okay, you're in Canada. The internet is your friend. There are tons of great gi companies. This gi that I held up, I got this one in China, here in Shanghai. Ordered it on Taobao. Taobao doesn't deliver to Canada, though, unfortunately, because it's awesome. You don't need a fancy gi with a bunch of different patches and logos on it. In fact, you may want to check with your academy first, the one you sign up with. They might have a specific uniform code. For example, a lot of Hibero Jiu-Jitsu academies require that their students wear a white gi. Gis are available in different colors, generally white, black, blue, pink for ladies. That is allowed in competition for women. But again, check with your academy if they have any specific rules about the uniform, whether it's a white one, black one, blue one, whatever. A lot of jiu-jitsu academies don't care, some do. Whether it's the color or maybe they might have their own specific gi you have to buy, I'm not a big fan of that one. You know, I'm okay if they say, hey, let's all wear a white gi so we know we're on the same team, but if it's like, everybody has to pay $400 for this very specific team gi, or else you're out of here. Not a big fan of that approach. Not to say an academy that does that can't be a good jiu-jitsu instructional institute, but not a big fan of that sales pitch. So, thank you for the question. Keep me updated on your jiu-jitsu pursuits. Good luck to you. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.